Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive into the world of AI voice synthesis. We're going to be diving deep into 11 labs, and to help me do that, we have, well, an expert on AI voice synthesis here to break down all the latest developments.
I'm excited to be here.
So to get started, we'll be pulling a lot of information from this great interview with Amar Ri. He's the head of design over at 11 Labs. I gotta say, this stuff is just incredible.
Yeah, this technology is just evolving so fast. It's really amazing. It seems like every day there's something new. And it really is more than just, like replacing human voices. It's
Right.
like opening up whole new creative possibilities, but also, tackling some real problems in accessibility and communication.
I know. And you won't believe this. So the founders of 11 Labs, they got the idea for the platform. You ready for this? They were watching a poorly dubbed TV show in Poland where the same voice actor voiced every single character.
Oh, wow.
And it was so bad. It was so bad that they realized, there's got to be a better way.
I love that. That's such a great example of how like a frustrating experience can spark, real innovation. And the core mission of 11 Labs, I mean, making content universally accessible no matter what language you speak or even what voice you prefer. I think that's something that a lot of people can really connect with.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so 11 Labs, they started as a voice cloning tool,
Yeah.
but it's gotten much bigger, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's really evolved into this whole AI audio platform. And one of the things that's really remarkable is just how real these voices sound. Even people who've been following AI development, like for a while now, they're just blown away by how human-like these voices are, like with all the nuances and the emotional inflections and everything.
Yeah, it's a little freaky how good they are.
Right.
Like Amar mentions in the interview that he used the platform to get that, that iconic movie trailer voice to say, "Welcome to the deep dive." It's kind of crazy.
Totally. It's mind-blowing. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And, it's not just about perfectly copying existing voices, Think about like someone who wants to try out the voice changer and they want to like, sound really tough.
Uh-huh.
And they're saying something like, let's freaking go.
Yeah, yeah.
It's about expanding the creative possibilities for everyone.
It is. Oh, and there's this example with a voice actor who's worked on games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. I think his name's Carter.
Yeah, Carter.
I mean, imagine being able to use his actual voice for your own project.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like he does the voice of Baraka in Mortal Kombat. So imagine that gravelly voice saying, "I don't know, I failed over and over." Like the potential is just, it's crazy.
It really is. It's like having like this huge cast of voice actors that you have access to at any time. And speaking of voices, the library that 11 Labs has is just incredible. It's not just like everyday voices. They have celebrities
Oh, yeah.
like Burt Reynolds, Judy Garland, even Jerry Garcia. You could literally have Jerry Garcia reading you the news if you want.
Okay. That's wild. And this is where things get even more interesting to me. They have this whole voice marketplace where, get this, voice actors can upload their voices to the platform and then actually earn money, like passive income, when other people use their voices.
Right.
What do you think about that?
It's super interesting, isn't it? I mean, on the one hand, it's an awesome opportunity for voice actors to reach more people and maybe make more money. But then on the other hand, it raises all these questions, right? About like who owns your voice and how much control do you have over it, especially now with all these deep fakes and stuff.
Yeah, that was my first thought too. Like, how does 11 Labs deal with all of that? I mean, are there any like safeguards in place to prevent things from going wrong?
Yeah. Well, from what Amar said in the interview, they take that stuff very seriously. They have ways to like check if a celebrity voice is real or not, and they keep an eye on everything that's being created on their platform. Plus, voice actors have the ability to control how their voice is used and how long it's available. They can set limits and restrictions, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Definitely. So it's not all fun and games with this tech. There's some serious real world stuff already happening.
Oh, for sure. Right. Absolutely.
Like people are already using 11 Labs for all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Faceless YouTube channels,
Mm-hmm.
video game voiceovers,
Yeah.
even creating sound effects.
Oh.
And I heard they're even using it in advertising already.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
You've probably heard it and didn't even realize it.
I bet. I bet I have. And I got to ask, what about audiobooks?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, imagine listening to your favorite author narrate their own book in their own voice.
Wow. That would be amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
That could completely change how we experience audiobooks.
It would be a game changer.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, Will authors become like the preferred narrators?
Yeah.
It adds like a whole other level of authenticity to the work. Or
Yeah.
what if we start seeing all these like celebrity voices? Like imagine every book sounding like Morgan Freeman is reading it to you. It's really interesting to think about.
And then you have the multilingual aspect of all of this. 11 Labs supports like over 30
That's
languages,
incredible.
which means that you can create something in one language
Yeah.
and then instantly make it accessible to people all over the world.
It's huge. I mean, for businesses, educators, anyone who wants to reach a global audience, the implications are just enormous. It really like breaks down all those language barriers and
Yeah.
opens up so many opportunities to connect with people from different cultures and backgrounds.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, things are about to get even more interesting here. You familiar with their conversational AI feature?
Oh, yeah.
What they're doing there is pretty wild. It's like they're building their own AI-powered chatbots.
Yeah, they're making these AI agents that are so much more than just like a basic text chatbot.
Yeah.
These AIs can actually answer questions, provide information. They can even have like their own personalities, and they do it all while speaking in like their own unique voice. It's crazy. Imagine having one of these on your website, like a voice-activated AI assistant. It would totally transform how people interact with your site.
Wow. Yeah, that is a game changer. And you could have it sound like anyone you want, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what about this Gen FM feature? I keep hearing about it. Sounds like it's kind of shaking things up in the podcasting world.
Oh, yeah, it is. So imagine being able to make your own, like, personalized podcast just by typing in text from articles or news sources or even your own writing. It's like having this AI-powered podcast studio right there in your pocket.
So like I could have my morning news like curated and then read to me by anyone I want.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. That is amazing. And it's interactive too, right? Like those animated co-hosts they have that kind of get ready for the recording while it's loading.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's such a fun detail.
It's a really nice touch. It kind of reminds me of Google's Notebook LM, but Gen FM takes it to another level.
Yeah. What do you see as like the main advantages over something like Notebook LM?
Well, first of all, the voices on 11 Labs are much more diverse and they just sound way more realistic. And like we talked about, you have that multilingual capability, so you're not limited to just English content. And honestly, from a user's perspective, it just feels more intuitive and user-friendly, especially on a mobile device.
Yeah, I think that accessibility is huge. It opens up this technology to a lot more people.
Totally. It really does. It's democratizing how we create and consume audio content.
Okay, before we get too carried away here,
Yeah.
there was something else Amar mentioned in the interview about upcoming features. He talked about their work on AI-generated music.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like, could this be getting to the point where we can just instantly create original scores and soundscapes?
It really could. I mean, think about what that would mean for filmmakers, game developers, musicians, everyone. It could fundamentally change how we make and experience music.
It's getting a little sci-fi, but I kind of love it.
Yeah.
It feels like we're right on the edge of a major shift in how we use technology, how we make things, even how we communicate with each other.
Absolutely.
It's kind of overwhelming, to be honest.
It is. But it's also really exciting. It makes you think, is all this AI voice stuff just a cool gimmick? Or are we witnessing a real paradigm shift in how we communicate as humans? Like, think about how people used to be skeptical about email replacing letters, and now look at us. Could AI voices be the next big thing?
That's a great question, and it's definitely something worth thinking about. I mean, I think it's safe to say that we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with all of this.
For sure. And I have a feeling this is only going to get more and more interesting as 11 Labs keeps developing and innovating.
Well, I think it's time for a little break. We'll be back in a bit to keep diving into the fascinating world of 11 Labs and AI voice synthesis.
And we're back. It really is amazing to think about how far this whole AI voice thing has come in such a short time. I mean, just a few years ago, this level of realism, this versatility, it just seemed impossible.
I know, it's incredible. It's mind-blowing how quickly things are moving.
Right.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves and dive into the future of 11 Labs, you know what's coming next, I think it might be helpful to take a step back
Okay.
and just like explore how this whole voice cloning magic actually works, like what's going on under the hood.
Yeah, you're right. We kind of glossed over the technical stuff there.
Yeah.
At its heart, 11 Labs uses these deep learning algorithms, right?
Right.
And they use them to analyze and then replicate all the unique characteristics of a person's voice. It's like they're training this AI model on like this huge data set of speech recordings.
So they're basically teaching the AI to understand All the little things, the
Mhm.
nuances that make someone's voice unique.
Exactly. It learns things like their pitch, their tone, their rhythm, even those subtle breaths and pauses that make a voice sound natural, human. And the more data it has, the more accurate the copycat voice is going to be.
That makes sense. But what makes 11 Labs stand out from all the other AI voice generators out there? We've talked about how realistic they sound, but what's their secret?
Well, one of the biggest factors is just the quality and the diversity of the data they use to train their models, right?
Right.
They've really put a lot of effort into building this massive library of voice samples, and they cover like tons of different accents, ages, and emotional expressions. Plus, they're always like refining their algorithms to make the generated voices even more accurate and natural sounding.
So it's not just about having a lot of data. It's about having the right kind of data.
Yes. And having the right algorithms to, do their magic. It's
Yeah.
all these different factors coming together to create these amazing 11 Labs voices.
Gotcha. It sounds so complex, but they've done a really good job of making it user-friendly, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's one of the things that makes them so great. They've managed to make this super advanced technology like accessible to everyone. You don't have to be like a sound engineer or a programmer to use it.
Yeah, that's really important because it means anyone with an idea can actually bring it to life, even if they
Mhm.
don't have a huge budget or access to professional voice actors.
Absolutely. It's really empowering. It gives anyone the ability to be a content creator, which is pretty awesome.
It is. Okay, so we've talked about how it works, why the voices are so impressive, but let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. We've touched on some of the potential downsides, like the risk of deep fakes and some of the ethical stuff surrounding AI-generated content.
Right.
But let's flip it. What about the positive impacts? Like, how do you see this technology benefiting society?
Oh man, there are so many potential benefits. Like, for starters, this could revolutionize accessibility for people with disabilities. Imagine someone who has a speech impediment being able to communicate easily and confidently using an AI generated voice, or someone who has lost their voice because of an illness or injury being able to speak again.
Wow, yeah, that's powerful. And it's not just about like overcoming physical limitations either. Think about language learning and communication between cultures.
Exactly. With AI voice synthesis, you could have real-time translation that sounds natural and expressive. It would be like those language barriers just disappear, making it so much easier for people from different cultures to connect and understand each other.
What about education? Do you think this could change how we learn?
I definitely think so. Imagine having these personalized learning experiences that are tailored to each student, like interactive textbooks with characters who speak in different voices, making learning more fun and engaging.
Oh, and virtual tutors who can give you feedback and help you along the way.
Yes, exactly. The possibilities are pretty much endless. And we can't forget about all the creative industries, like film, TV, video games. We've already talked about audiobooks and podcasting.
It could totally change how we tell and experience stories.
Imagine creating entire worlds with characters that have their own unique voices and personalities, all generated by AI.
It's almost like science fiction becoming reality.
It is. And it's happening right now. We're at the very beginning of this massive technological shift. It's pretty exciting to be a part of it.
Okay, let's bring it back down to earth for a minute. We've been talking a lot about the potential, but how are people actually using 11 Labs today?
Well, we mentioned some examples earlier, like faceless YouTube channels and video game voiceovers, but people are using it for so much more than that. We're seeing brands using 11 Labs to create these personalized audio messages for their customers, in marketing and advertising.
So instead of getting those annoying robocalls, you might actually get a message that sounds like it's from a real person, and it's tailored specifically to you.
Exactly. It's all about creating a more personal and engaging experience. And it's not just about replicating human voices either. People are using 11 Labs to create unique sound effects and even music.
Wait, so you're saying someone could create a whole soundtrack for their film or video game using AI?
That's right. It's opening up all these new creative possibilities for sound design and music production. And the coolest part is, you don't have to be a pro to use it. Anyone can create their own music and soundscapes now.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like giving everyone access to their own personal recording studio.
It really is. And honestly, I think we're just scratching the surface. I can't wait to see what people come up with.
It is a lot to wrap your head around, for sure.
It is. It really makes you wonder what the future's going to be like, right? What's the world going to be like in 5, 10, 20 years when this AI voice technology is even more advanced?
Man, that is a great question. It's almost impossible to predict, but it's safe to say that things are going to sound a whole lot different in the future.
Oh, I agree. And it's going to be really cool to see how it all unfolds and how this technology shapes the way we talk to each other, how we create and how we experience the world around us.
All right, I'm ready to dive back into the future of 11 Labs. Amar hinted at some really exciting stuff during the interview, especially when it comes to AI music generation.
Oh, yeah, he did. He mentioned that they're working on these crazy, sophisticated algorithms that can actually compose original music in pretty much any style.
Whoa, so it's not just about copying existing music anymore. We could actually have AI composing completely original pieces.
That's the plan. And they're also figuring out ways to combine AI-generated music with other creative tools like video editing software and game engines.
Oh, so you could have a video game where the soundtrack changes in real time based on what the player does.
Exactly. They want to push the limits of what's possible and create these super immersive and interactive experiences. And they also want to make AI music generation accessible to everyone.
So we could all be writing symphonies and soundtracks in the near future.
You never know. And imagine what that could mean for music education. Students could learn about music theory and composition in a whole new way, by playing around with these AI tools that can generate music and give feedback in real time.
Be like having your own personal music teacher with you 24/7.
Exactly. And this could open up so many opportunities for people who might not have had access to traditional music education or people who have physical limitations that prevent them from playing instruments.
This is all so cool. But I gotta ask, what about the human element in all of this? Will AI eventually replace musicians and composers altogether?
That's the big question, isn't it? I don't think AI will ever be able to fully replace human creativity. I mean, there's something special about music, about the emotions and experiences we pour into it. It's inherently human.
Yeah, I agree. But I can see AI being like this super powerful tool for musicians. Like it could help them break through writer's block, come up with new ideas, even collaborate with other musicians remotely.
Totally. I think AI is more of a partner, a collaborator than a competitor. It's about helping humans be even more creative, not replacing them.
So it's not AI versus humans, it's AI and humans working together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the real magic happens.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for another break. We'll be right back to finish up our deep dive into the amazing world of 11 Labs and AI voice synthesis.
We're back. And man, it's really exciting to think about AI as this creative partner pushing the boundaries of what we can do in music and really any creative field.
Totally. It's like having this incredibly powerful tool at your disposal that can just help you explore all these new ideas, come up with things you never would have thought of on your own.
Absolutely. And it's not even just about generating new content. AI can also help us understand and appreciate existing music in ways that we never have before.
Really? How so?
Well, just imagine being able to take a piece of music and break it down into all its different parts.
Okay.
You could see the melody, the harmony, the rhythm all right there in front of you. It would be amazing for music education and analysis.
Oh, yeah. Like a cool way to visualize music. I bet it would make learning about music theory so much more engaging, too.
For sure. And then think about this. You could use AI to generate variations on a theme or even create completely new music that's inspired by existing works.
So you could take like a Bach fugue and have the AI create a EDM remix.
Exactly. I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless. And it doesn't have to be music. AI can be used to analyze and play around with any type of audio, from speech to sound effects.
Wow. So we could see AI being used to create these crazy immersive soundscapes for virtual reality or hyper-realistic sound effects for movies and video games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it could even be used to make our everyday listening experiences better and more personal. Imagine being able to change the EQ settings of a song whenever you want, or having AI automatically make you a playlist that matches your mood.
It's like having your own personal audio engineer.
Exactly. And as this technology gets better and better, I think we're going to see even more crazy, creative, and innovative uses for it.
It really is mind-blowing. But let's bring it back to 11 Labs for a minute. We started this whole conversation talking about their mission to make content accessible to everyone. How do you see that actually playing out in the real world?
Well, one of the biggest impacts is going to be how we consume information. Imagine being able to listen to any article or blog post or book in your own language, read in a voice that you actually enjoy listening to.
That would be incredible, especially for people who struggle with reading or who just prefer to listen to information.
Totally. And it could make learning a new language so much easier and fun. You could listen to podcasts, audiobooks, even have conversations with AI-powered language tutors, all in the language you're trying to learn.
It would be like a completely personalized language immersion experience.
Exactly. And this could have a huge impact on how we create content, too. With AI voices, anyone can become a podcaster, an audiobook narrator, a voiceover artist. It doesn't matter if you have any technical skills or special equipment.
It's like everyone gets a voice.
Yeah, exactly. It just opens up so many new opportunities for people.
And what about the impact on businesses and how we communicate in general? How do you think AI voices will change how we work and interact with each other?
I think we're going to see a big shift toward more personalized and efficient ways of communicating. Imagine being able to, like, dictate an email or a report and have it automatically transcribed and translated into multiple languages, or having real-time conversations with people all over the world without any language barriers.
Wow, that would completely transform how we do business.
It really would. And think about customer service. Imagine calling a company and talking to a virtual assistant that sounds like a real person who can actually understand your needs and help you.
That would make those annoying automated phone systems a thing of the past.
Right, and it would free up those customer service agents to deal with more complicated issues.
This is all super exciting. But we can't ignore some of the potential downsides. We've talked about deepfakes, but what about jobs? Could this technology lead to, like, massive job losses in certain industries?
Yeah, that's a legitimate concern, and it's something we need to be thinking about carefully. Like any new technology, there's going to be some disruption, some jobs might be automated, and people are going to need new skills.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's all doom and gloom.
Yeah, why not?
Well, remember that AI voice tech is still pretty new. It's not going to suddenly replace humans altogether. We're still going to need that human touch, that creativity. And also, new technologies always create new jobs and new opportunities that we couldn't have even imagined before. Just look at the internet. When it first came out, people were worried about everyone losing their jobs. But it actually created tons of new industries and jobs that we never could have predicted.
That's a good point. So instead of being afraid of AI, we should focus on how to adapt to it and how to use it to make things better.
Exactly. It's all about embracing change and learning new things. And it's about having honest conversations about what AI means for us, both the good and the bad.
I think that's key. Being proactive and shaping how AI develops instead of just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's about finding the right balance between innovating and being responsible and making sure we're using this technology ethically and for the benefit of everyone.
This has been a really thought-provoking conversation. We've covered so much, from how voice cloning actually works to, like, the bigger picture of what AI means for society.
It's been a great discussion, and honestly, this is just the beginning. The world of AI voice tech is constantly changing, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Me too. And I bet our listeners are feeling the same way. So before we go, I want to leave you with something to think about. Imagine you could create your own AI voice assistant, like the ones we talked about. What kind of personality would you give it? What kind of voice would you pick? And what would you have it help you with?
That's a great question to end on. It really makes you think about the potential here, and how you can tailor this tech to fit your own life.
And it reminds us that we're not just, like, passive users of this technology. We can be active participants in shaping it and using it to make our lives and the world a better place.
Well said.
All right, everyone, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this exploration into the world of 11 Labs and AI voice synthesis. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those imaginations running wild.
See you next time.